Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? Oh, let's be friends. Good night and hello, everyone. I have a little friend here. How I will have my friend, Mr. Cockringle Dingle him and the fourth, tell us a story written by Mr. Cleveland from Norway. As you see here, this is a dog. And they are our companions, aren't they? Well, today I present you a story. Mr. Cockringle Dingleham the Fourth from Happy Towers will read us a story written by Mr. Cleveland called Happy Birthday, Mrs. Heegs. Now that is one hell of a title, don't you think? Well, from what I've heard, it is about a birthday, Mrs. Heegs, celebrating her 76th birthday. Are you sitting comfortably? Then let us begin this story.
Are you sitting comfortably? Let's begin. Orange and yellow lights flickered as the house in his monotone voice said, "Today is February 5th, 2256, and it would seem the wonderful Miss Heegs is celebrating her birthday yet again. She has been excited for her 76th for a long time. Miss Heegs was a wonderful person, and very clever. Many thought she had practiced this one. Time and time again, her D25 doorbell rang while the orange lights flickered as the guest had arrived. Her 2 children, John and Sarah, her 6 grandchildren, and even great-grandchildren too this time. The house ordered the cake as they all sat down and started catching up. "Are you doing well?" asked John as he buttoned his white shirt with his hands wearing green gloves. "Oh, I'm doing well, if you ask me," laughed Miss Heegs, as everyone else laughed. The room started going quiet. The cake was nowhere to be seen, and she seemed disturbed, almost as if something seemed familiar. Why were the walls so tall? Why were they so gray and metal? "Have you taken your pills, Miss Heegs?" asked John. "No, I haven't," she responded. John made sure she took her medicine, and everything seemed to return to a nice, warm room in the countryside. The walls returned to blue, and the windows have returned. "I've been meaning to take a walk out sometime," Miss Heegs told everyone as she stood up to stare at the window. "Weren't you born in the 90s? Sarah jokingly said. Miss Heegs told them mostly how wonderful the 2000s were, but she seemed to think it was so long ago, yet not so far at all. "I've lived such a long life," Miss Heegs cried. Miss Heegs started remembering how she had been alive since the 1990s, and that it was now 2250s, and soon to be the 2260s. But also how she thought she had gone crazy. Initiating memory, an age reset, a monotone voice spoke. Miss Heegs fell, and later woke up as the guest was not there. "What day is it?" she asked. Orange and yellow lights flickered as the house in his monotone voice said, "Today is February 5th, 2257, and it would seem the wonderful Miss Heegs is celebrating her birthday yet again. She has been excited for her 76th for a long time. Happy birthday, Mrs. Heegs."
Ooh, spooky, wasn't it? My little friend here was scared himself. I had to walk him on a little walk to pee. But Mr. Cockringle-Dingle made a forfeit. Told you a scary story about Mrs. Heegs. Now, are you well? Have you taken your medication? Your happy pills, perhaps? Antidepressants, joys, Molly is one I've heard. Remember to take your medication. You ought to stay well and sane, ladies and gentlemen. Now this was Uncle Dommage signing out. Do you want to say goodbye? Goodbye. Look, he's saying goodbye. Goodbye.